Radio 57 WKBN presents Polka Party. 2 hours of your favorite polkas and waltzes. Now, with music and fun for everyone, here's Gene Fedorchak with Joe Fedorchak and Merle Kumik.
Well, good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Radio 57 WKBN Polka Show. We're all in our places with bright, shiny faces. Hey, we got a couple of babes in the studio this morning. Boy, they brighten it up. One is Pat Habat, Patricia Habat, and the other is Betty Milano. Now, that guy sitting next to you, Joe, I don't know.
I know.
I'm not too sure about him.
If you're going to have a habit, that's a good habit to have.
That's a good habit to have.
If you don't have an Ed habit, you might have a Pat habit.
Good morning, Eddie Habat.
Good morning. How nice to be here.
The legendary Eddie Habat. We're so proud to have you down here, Eddie. I'll tell you, it's something we wanted to do for years and years, and I'm really excited. I want to just thank you right now for making a special trip down here to visit us.
Well, I'm very happy to be here. It's nice that you asked me to come down. Maybe we'll do a little reminiscing, whatever I can remember.
We'll go down Polka Road.
We'll go down Polka Road.
All the good things.
Yeah. Well, what else do we have good, Joseph?
Gino, on this great day, we have a nice way to get dedications on the Sunday Morning Polka Show. And that young fellow over there, and I stress the word young, Mr. Merle Kumik, is going to tell you exactly how to do that.
I'm going to try. Good morning, everybody. For dedications, give us a call, 782-8191 in Youngstown. From Warren and anywhere else, 1-800-777-500. From your Wilcom or your 360 cell phone, push star 57.
Okay, we're going to feature 2 hours. Did you mention Betty over there? Good morning, Betty.
Yeah, I'm over here, if anybody noticed.
I did, dear. It was that bright, the sunshiny rays emanating from that area that blinded me temporarily.
You're so kind.
Yes. Now, we're listening to the Jack on St. Clair Polka, and this is by Eddie Habat. By the way, we're going to feature Eddie's music for the whole 2 hours today. And, boy, he sure has some good tunes. And if you're a polka fan and you've been a buff for a lot of years, you know that we have truly an American icon here with us. Eddie, tell us about this tune, Jack on St. Clair. How did this come about?
Well, this was an old Matt Hoyer tune, who incidentally was, I idolized him, along with Doc Lauschie. And my father had some of these records at home, which I would play over and over again on the old wind-up Victrola.
So this is one of them?
This is one of them.
All right, let's listen to it. Tell me about this song. This is the Riverboat. We're gonna do Riverboat.
Yeah, it's a tune that I had done. I think 3 times I've recorded this.
Really?
First time I think, was back in the 50s, I believe, and then when I got together with Katsas, I did it again, and then we did it again one more time for Walter Ostanik's.
So this is the in-between one?
This is the in-between one, really, yeah.
This is the Paul Yanchars on this?
Yeah, Paul's on this.
And who are some of the others? Chris Katsas.
Katsas.
Your son's on drums, I believe.
Mark's playing drums. Joey Misculin's on piano. Mark is playing the banjo. And Phil Cernick is playing bass.
Let's hear it. Eddie Habat and the Riverboat Polka. Wait a minute.
Hi, this is Lou Trebar. Here in Cleveland, I'm waltzing with my Ann and enjoying Gene Fedorchak's Polka Party on Radio 57, WKBN.
Louis, there's an old buddy of yours, huh, Eddie?
A long time. Long time.
You guys probably, what, 50, 60 years, maybe?
Oh, yeah. And incidentally, I consider Louis one of the finest accordion players around. He really knows his stuff.
I tend to agree with you there.
I think so.
Well, let's talk a little bit about WKBN Polka Party. We're celebrating our 14th anniversary dance today, August 23rd, at the SNPJ Recreation Center. There'll be 7 hours of entertainment. We go from 2 until 9 p.m., featuring the Joe Fedorchak Band and the Freddie Zwick Band. Then we have Diane Maddie for a special treat coming from Cleveland, her and her husband Jody. And then we have the button boxes of the Valensik brothers, Darrell and Frank Jr., along with Bobby's Gone. So for you people that like button boxes, and I just wonder maybe Freddie Zwick will join in there too, and just kind of blow the walls off that place. High-powered performers for sure. And as I said, for the dancing portion, we'll have Joe Fedorchak Band and Freddie Zwick. And food and snacks and beverages are available. Kitchens opens for dinners at 1 o'clock. Come early, stay late. SNPJ today from 2 until 9 p.m. 7 hours of entertainment. Help us celebrate 14 years of doing this WKBN Polka Party. Put Eddie on there. Did you write this one?
No, I had. Which one is this lady?
Yeah.
No, I had.
Lady of All My Dreams.
No, this was given to me by Decca Records to record.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Well, did they provide you with the music?
Once in a while they would, but some of the stuff they send you, they were told in a nice way, why don't you just let us pick our own material out?
Yeah.
Because you don't know where you're coming from.
Yeah, they didn't have a feel for that.
No, that's true, you know. Yeah. I mean, and then once in a while other bands, it gets, in fact, I got a little something real quick. I happened to get 4 records, or 4 sides, that were sent to me from my A&R man in New York at the time, and that's years ago. Little did he know who made these records, and here, these were unreleased copies, or unreleased record songs from Johnny Vadnal. And somehow, somebody at Decca got a hold of these. And I showed these to Kenny Bass, and right away he grabbed them and went over to Vadnal. What happened? I don't know anything. And I said, I'm not going to do them. And I called up the A&R man in New York, and I told him, there's no way we do this. And I told him, he says, well, you're right.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to mention the tunes.
No, we won't. We'll go right to the waltz and enjoy it. Lady of All My Dreams.
Heaven will be in your smile. Softly I'll whisper, please linger a while, lady of all my dreams.
All right, Eddie, who were the singers? That was now Sokach and Habat, right?
That was Sokach Habat Orchestra, yeah.
And that was with Pete Sokach on the other accordion.
Yeah, and Kenny Bass was on the bass, and those were two of his sisters singing, Helen and Caroline.
Kenny Bass's sisters.
Kenny
yeah?
Bass's sisters.
You know, I like the story he just told with the girls in the studio with the headphones on, their finger in their ear, their hair in curlers.
Oh yeah, I never forgot it. Yeah. Very serious, you know.
Yeah, that's 50 years ago.
Yeah, it's 50 years ago.
Wow.
Here's another tune that has been a favorite of everybody's, a lot of accordion players, called the Iron Range Polka. Now, where did this come from?
Oh, that's old Pecan Yankovic tune. It was done in the around 47, something like that. And I always liked it. It's got a good movement to it.
Yeah.
It kicks.
And with guess who on the saxophone, Gino?
Who's playing?
Paul Yanchar.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
there you
he's
are.
on the whole album.
There's some other musicians that I want to mention. Eddie, tell us who the other players are on this. Well, turn him on, would you please? Go ahead.
You have Shirt Cernick on the bass, Bill Cernick on the drums, brother Bill.
He played with Vadno eventually.
Unfortunately, they're both deceased. Frankie Vadnal is playing the banjo. Paul Yancher is on the saxophone. And I really don't recall who's on the piano, if it's Johnny Kafer or Frank Piccarello. I don't remember.
50 years ago is a long time.
This was, this was my last thing for Decca.
Oh, okay.
After, 14 years, this was... I had
swan
enough.
song.
Yeah, I had enough.
Time to move on.
You know, and I always did say something, you know, and I think all of us people should be proud of one thing. You get on a major label, how many, you know, these big-time stars, they knock the polkas down. How many of these big-time stars can say, well, they recorded, I've been on a major label for 10, 14, 15 years.
Doesn't happen that
I mean, you
often.
can turn around and laugh at these guys, too.
Iron Range, Eddie Habat.
Boy, I tell you, I think as far as I'm concerned, we're making history today, man. I'll tell you.
I'm having a good
I
time.
can't believe that we have Eddie Habat finally, after all these years of wanting to get him down here. This guy was
Gino, if the audience would know what we had to do to get Bones down here.
we had to talk to
We almost had to drag you down here.
Yeah, pretty close.
You were pushed by a very nice lady, and she pushed you in the right places. And
oh, my
glad to
wife,
have you.
Pat, yeah.
Glad to have
sitting
you.
here,
Oh, boy.
yeah.
Well, one of the other reasons that we're thrilled is not only, you know, that you're one of the admired musicians in this business, but like you're one of the 5 guys that actually invented this music. In my opinion, I mean, there were there was Vadno, Habat, Yankovic, Pecan, Bass, and of course Louis Trebar was with Pecan. So I mean, that's kind of like it, and this is where we listened to you guys, and when we were 12, 13, 14 years old, and bought your records and learned note by note and so forth. And there was really the bands were very distinctive. You guys had all your own tunes, and in my opinion, I mean, you took all that Hoyer stuff, the Slovenian stuff, the Broadway musical stuff, vaudeville, and made polkas out of them, and invented the Cleveland style. And that's really something to me.
Well, it goes back a little further. Norm Cobalt hit it on the head with me, and I never had thought of it in this manner. He said that I would be considered the youngest of the old timers.
Yeah,
and that's true.
Okay.
It's true.
Sure,
And
from Hoyer on down.
and really, I always also thought in terms of how could you not like doing something that I totally loved music in my younger years. I lived it, believe me, and get paid for doing it. But the ironic part about it all is that I would rather play and not get paid and do what I wanted to do and see the people have a good time at private parties or a jam session or something. And incidentally, at that time when we had jam sessions, you wanted to hear some music. It's unfortunate that they didn't have tape recorders at that time, because there was stuff dreamed up as we were playing, and I'm talking from Pecan, Tree Bar, and whoever, and guys you probably never heard of, that they had a few in them, and boy, it would fly out. And that's the way it was.
That's how the tunes were written, on the fly.
Certainly, absolutely, but how many of them were never played because you'd forget about them after they were played. I got a little story with the one I had with Joe, with that one I wrote Goodbye Again that I made with Chris Scottsauce. This was done on Thanksgiving Eve at Joey Misculin's, and I had a few in me, and Joey always had a jam session on Thanksgiving Eve. So I go up there and I'm playing, and fine, I get through, and I happen to play this, and I forgot about it, and I do recall that as I was playing it, it just came into my mind as I was doing it, that the place got real quiet. And so 2 days later on Friday, I went back to Joey, and Joey went up on the stage on his piano, organ, whatever he called the keyboard, and he says, Bone, he says, I want you to hear this song, and he played it. I says, geez, Joe, and not in the, yeah, I said, where'd you get that? That's a beautiful tune, but I'm not going to put in exact words the way he told me. He says, that's your tune. He says, that's the one you made up 2 days ago. I says, I don't believe it. And that's the way these things were, you know. But Joey remembered it.
Oh, yes, sir. We can tell you some of those stories.
Tell us what we're listening to here.
Well, it's the old Polka Habit. This is the, I have done it twice, I think, 2 or 3 times, I forget. But this is the original version.
This is the tune that you wrote here.
Yeah.
Okay, let's listen to it. Polka Habit. Yeah, 5:30 in the morning, Eddie. I don't think I remember I saw 5:30 one time. I think I was coming in though. And
you got up by mistake.
Yeah, it was on the other side of 5:30.
Listen, Gene, let me tell you something. In my younger days, I used to come home at 5.
Yeah.
And then after I married and had a family, I got out of bed at 5. And I'll tell you, I felt good getting up at 5 rather than coming home at 5.
Yeah, it feels a little bit better.
Yeah.
But you guys were talking about being up early, and you happened to hear this next tune that we're going to play is Hambone Habit. And there's a little story with this. Tell us about that, Eddie.
Well, it's about 5:30 in the morning, and I'm watching the morning news on television around 5:30. And all of a sudden, I hear
Tom Brokaw. Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, it was a Brokaw show.
Yeah,
Okay.
But about this, I hear Hambone by Joe over here, And I looked, well, what's going on in here? It's this, what's his name, Uncle Wiggly?
Uncle Wiggly up in Wisconsin, yeah.
And how well they do, and about the polka program, which I thought was great because it's national network.
NBC,
yeah,
sure.
and here, Joe, you got on national TV right there at 5:30, and you're playing my tune.
There you are. Right? And you know, Eddie, you know that when they went through that, how many miles of tape hit the ground before they got on the air? You know, that was the, and to have that come on was just, it was a great feeling.
It's true.
Great
you know,
feeling.
come on, you put your chest out on that.
And then the phone started to ring, didn't they?
Yeah.
And here it is, Hambone Habat, written by Eddie Habat, played by Eddie Habat, but also recorded by the Joe Fedorchak band.
There you are.
Anniversary to Irene and Melvin Crislip from Brother Ron. Happy anniversary, 71 years to Martin and Anna Savor. Also, it's Martin's birthday. He's going to be 97 years young on the same day, and this is from the family. Happy anniversary to Ed and Marianne Kravis, August 23rd, from Marcy and John Kordesich. This song is also going out for Olga Karosky.
Radio 57, WKBN in Youngstown, Ohio. Well, let's talk a little bit about Las Vegas. Like doing snippets, maybe, or something, or we're not there yet. Okay, we don't have all that material. A little housekeeping, folks, we're doing over there. As we continue on, we'll be hearing Strawberry Hill in about a minute from Eddie Habat, a good tune. I remember learning this tune way back when, boy, and holding the needle for you, Joe. It was on the record player, and as we trying to learn all the runs and the chord changes and so forth. Back then, when I was starting to play bass, just going from F to B flat was a big thing for me. You know, I mean, it
still is.
It still is.
Boy, was he open for that one, Eddie? He was wide open. He was wide open.
Hey, Eddie, you see, I was nice to him.
That's my job.
It was like, it's like 9:37. For 37 minutes, I did not take one shot at him.
Now look up.
Did I?
Well, you still got time.
That's my job, Eddie. When he gets out on that limb, my job is to saw him out.
All right. Well, we're gonna have to
make
it up over here.
Yes, sure does.
I try to be kind to him, though.
Well, why not?
Look at his age.
Don't start now.
Yeah?
Uh-oh.
This thing goes back a few years, doesn't it, Eddie? An old Matt Hoyer tune?
I think we're back here around 1950-51.
Somewhere in that area.
Yeah.
And everybody's still playing. In fact, the Button Box Clubs are really on this tune. Strawberry Hill, Eddie Habat and the gang.
Joe Mulata, 84 years young, from the family. Happy birthday, Helen Britz, from George and Children. Happy birthday, Dominic Russo, from Sandy Dupay.
take a second and tell you folks what we're doing. Eddie has written so many songs and recorded so many songs that we won't have room for him in 2 hours. So to give you a flavor of his creative ability, we're going to play as many as we can, but maybe a song, first part, second part, snippets kind of, yeah. And right now, Joe, tell us what we're listening to.
This is a thing called Shipper's Polka, and Eddie, I believe it's you and Phil Ellich and Jeff Pecan, and that was on Walter Osnick's Grammy-winning album.
Yeah, you're right. In fact, Walter had told me that after these awards were passed out, that they had a big party, and they played one polka. And the polka you're hearing right now was the one played.
All right, that's great.
Is this yours? You wrote this?
In collaboration with Phil Ellich.
Okay, let's listen to it.
I just would like to mention that this is the only song plus one more that two of my sons have recorded with me, Mark and Wayne.
And Mark was playing bass?
Mark was playing bass and Wayne was playing drums.
Yes, boy, I tell you.
You got to write a book?
Man, I'm telling you, some guys got it and some guys don't. You got it, Eddie Habat, I don't, and I'm jealous, I'll tell you that.
Don't talk like that.
Huh?
Don't talk like that.
I never figured I was a musician. I'm more just like a mechanic, you know.
Don't say that, because you, along with Joe, are doing extremely well, and I don't think you'd be doing as well if you didn't know what you were doing. Now, how's that sound?
That sounds like a habitism.
Okay, Eddie, you could stay another 10 minutes.
That sounds so nice of you.
Okay, lock up the door. He's staying.
You make me so happy.
Yeah. There's a song right there, right?
There you are.
There you are. Okay, let's go to... we're going to take dedications a little later on in the show. Right, Merle? That's what you want to do?
Righto.
Okay. What we're going to do now is, what tune did, the Old Country...
This is from the Master's Corner, Gino, and the Master is sitting right next to us. The Old Country Wedding. And this thing just fires me up. How many weddings did you do this at, Eddie?
Well, I couldn't count them.
Yeah, that's what I figured.
This was like the pillow dance.
Like the pillow dance.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Call it, yeah.
Is that what it is? Yeah.
Yeah,
okay.
and when it shifts gears, it shifts gears.
Yeah, you moved. You went, and sometimes these things lasted for at least an hour.
Yeah, then you had to take at least a little pause, after one of these, right?
I made sure I had a little pause in between songs.
Okay, you were all right there. Eddie Habat and the gang, a little thing called the Old Country Wedding. Well.
Oh, no, it isn't. It's Waiting for You Only.
Well, still an Eddie Habat tune.
Yeah.
Waiting for You Only, 5 down.
Waiting for you only to tell you I've been lonely. Thinking of your kisses tells me what my heart misses. To have your arms about me would really set my heart free. Wishing you'd return, dear, to tell me you'll always be near.
Was that you at the wedding, Eddie?
That was at the end of the job.
Let's go again. That last tune, Waiting for You Only, was that one of your compositions, by the way?
Yes, it was.
And who was singing on that?
Myself and Ray Young.
Oh, Ray Young, yeah.
Yeah, he did a few with us.
Did you sing melody or harmony? Are you generally a melody singer?
A melody. I'm no harmony singer.
Yeah.
And it's even tough to sing a melody. But I never went off key, let's put it that way.
I know. I have trouble with both melody and harmony. Hey, let's go. Let's listen to it. Old Country Wedding Dance. Talk a little bit about De Lucia's. What's the next tune that I have set up?
I have
Hambone and Hot Sauce.
I hope so.
That's one of your creations?
That's
along with Chris.
Along with Chris, and that's awesome.
Yeah. Eddie, tell us what we're listening to here.
Oh, this is Strolling Eddies.
You wrote this?
Yeah.
Did you stroll as an accordion player? Stroll in restaurants and so forth?
Not that much. If we had parties, and it was requested, especially in bars or something. You know how that works.
Yeah, yeah.
One leads to the other, and then they're hauling you down from one end to the other. Play this and play that.
And then you're strolling.
And then you're strolling. There you are now.
From Valerie Hill and Merle. Happy 12th anniversary, Fred and Lillian Yasnowski. Happy 38th anniversary to Eugene and Marcella Gabriel on August 27th from friends.
Boy, we're here in the Boom Boom Room, 5 floors below street level, where we keep the beat of the Goldie Oldies for the WKBN Polka Party. Whew, sure is dark in here. Hope I can find one of these old-time songs. Here's one. Let's see if it still plays.
And join the fun as WEWS presents Polka Variety, 60 minutes of relaxation and entertainment, featuring Eddie Habat and his band, the singing dancer Joyce Edwards, the Canadian Polka King Walt Ostenek, and the tap dancer Glenn Miller. Your host for the next 60 minutes of Polka Varieties, and here we are face-to-face with a brand new month, the very last one of this year of 1963. And how do we get it off to a bright beginning? Well, I think Bill Cernick and Paul Janchar have a good idea. They'd like to begin with the Hometown Polka. And here they are. 1, 2, 3.
Eddie, is that kind of like a blast from the past there, listening to that that TV show, the tape from the old TV show?
It sure is. I was very fortunate that I had these put on a CD from Bruce Berger.
He did that for you, yeah?
Yeah, because the tapes I had of these were pretty well shot. And he does have something to say at the end of all of these, knowing Bruce.
Knowing Bruce.
Yeah. Well, listen, let's talk about a little bit about the old days when you grew up in the Collinwood area. All you folks, players, came from the Collinwood section, it seems like. Most of you did, anyway.
Most of us did. I think Louis Trebar come from St. Clair. Yankovic, Pecan, we all came from. I came more from the Nottingham area, which was not that far down, but you got to remember the Holmes Avenue across the bridge, they had a Slovenian home, and across the bridge they had another Slovenian home on Waterloo. So that, I tell you, I don't know what happened there, but a lot of Slovenian homes, it talk about cliques, right there.
Yeah, sure.
That's the way it was.
Well, you picked up the accordion at the age of 8?
Well, what happened was my brother John brought home a 12-bass accordion. He's going to take lessons. And I picked it up and started playing, fooling around with it, and it just came automatic. And
you just had that ear to just honestly, yeah.
And it later on, a few years later, I say maybe, well, I know Heine Martin Antonsik was on Sundays, and he had transcriptions that he would play, plus old Doc Lauschi, Matt Hoyer tunes. And I'd listen faithfully to his whatever he played. I like the saying that I always had was, you went to any Slovenian household on Sunday, and Heine Martin was on, and that was a Sunday morning. Yep. And if they didn't have it on, it was considered a sin.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, this guy was great.
He had to confess that.
Plus the fact that in around 38, 39, I would assume 39. He had transcriptions of Pecan and Trebar, and Joe Soja, the guitar player.
Joe Soja, yeah.
Great musician. Walter Gauss, and some Continental Orchestra. And I used to listen to these things, and then Pecan recorded some transcriptions with Doc Lauschy. And that's where this Nicodemo de Mu, in which I'm sure you're aware of, came from. And I had it down to a T. I could hear this stuff and play it.
No kidding.
And I was very fortunate, believe me.
Well, that is a gift, no question about it.
I couldn't read. I couldn't study.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't concentrate, plus I got migraines from looking at music.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and I'm sorry, I wish I could read, because that's where it is.
Well, I don't know now. You know, if you have that kind of an ear, maybe...
Well, you got a feel for it.
Yeah, I was going to say, if you have that much of a feel, maybe music is more feeling than reading, you know.
I loved it.
And you headed your own band at age 11?
No, they people at the time... You had showers, wedding showers, or weddings, and they had them in the basements of the houses.
Mm-hmm.
And these people had called me up. They heard me play, you know, from other things, and they asked me to play solo, and I'd give $5. Now, you're talking...
oh, that's big money.
11, 12 years old in the 30s. You better believe it, that was big money.
Yeah.
And here a young kid making this kind of money, right?
Yeah, because my first job with Joe, we made $2 a piece. But we did eat. We got a kielbasa sandwich, and we got a bottle of orange pop.
Yep. Well, where's that?
I said, this showbiz is for me. I love that.
Yeah.
And now, at age 15, you're playing at Muldoon's, which is formerly Nettie's Cafe.
Yeah, there was some drummer on 185th Street. I went to school with Johnny Turbasso that had asked me to play down there. And I think the reason they asked me is because I could play the clarinet polka on the accordion.
Oh, yeah?
And that pretty much was unheard of.
Yeah.
And that's where I started, really. And then as the guy across the street from me, Joe McClavick, played banjo, who Joe made the original Yankovic records way back with Hokovar and them guys. And he hauled me down to 185th to Kramer's Lounge, playing a window, and I think I was around 14 then.
Mm-hmm.
And I had another $5 bill, you know.
You were playing in a window of this
Yeah, this is how it was. And these places would be packed. You know, the people would like to get out on Saturday night and spend their 10 cents for their shot and beer, whatever it was. And they went out and danced, and they had a good time. And things progressed for me after that.
And now Pecan leaves for the service, and they ask you to take over the band or take his place.
Yeah, well, they had somebody else, and they were not satisfied.
Mm-hmm.
So what happened was my father was involved with this friendly club. This is an organization that he formed of friends that had to get together every Sunday. So they usually hired me, and I'm there playing, and his bass player comes in. He says, "Hey, kid," he says, "do you mind if I bring my bass in?" And I says, "No." So he brought his bass in, and we played for a while. He says, "You know, I like the way you play." He says, "Can you play any English tunes?" I says, "Well, I can play a couple, you know." He says, "Play me one." So I think it was the Sheik of Araby, and made a few mistakes, and I got mad at myself. And after I got through, or we got through, he says, "How'd you like to join our band?" He says, my name's Johnny Hokovar. And he says, "I like the way you play." And I said, "Well, who do you play with?" "I'm busy with a band now," which was Tony Melavasic, who also went in the service. And he says, "Pecan." You can imagine, you know, I said, "What, are you going to refuse?"
Yeah, no.
And that's where it started going. I was at the right place at the right time.
Yeah.
And that's where it was.
Well, you had the talent, too. I mean,
well, it didn't hurt. But, you know, it's like anything else, Gene. You only got so much of it. And you try to progress and improve after a certain amount of years, and I came to more or less of a standstill, and I quit, basically, after so many years.
Yeah, but in the meantime...
Well, I did very well.
Pecan comes home from service, and then what do? You go with the polecats?
Well, I went in myself for a while, and... John came home while I was in, and he was overseas for about 3.5 years in the South Pacific. And I thought he'd get back together with the band, but he didn't. And when I got discharged, we got back together again, and we had a lot of work. We played the Gornick brothers, who owned a men's store in Cleveland, bought the old Twilight Gardens. And they wanted that thing to go for 5 nights a week instead of Saturdays. And they put a lot of money in, and we played there 5 nights a week, and it didn't work, unfortunately. Of course, eventually it burned down. But then after that, I broke away, and in '48, I teamed up with Sokach, who I knew Pete quite well from when I first started back in the early '40s. And Kenny Bass, in the meantime, was always hanging around. We became very good friends. And he joined the group, and there was a saying with us, Eddie, you do the playing. Sokach says, I'll do the booking and get the money, and Bass says, I'll do the promoting. And that's the way it was. And then I'd hear from some of the guys in the band, well, you're not making enough money, Pete's making it all. I didn't care. I had a good time.
Yeah.
Which we did.
You played because you really loved it.
No, why certainly.
Money was secondary to you.
Yeah, I didn't care.
You know, when thought we're in that service mode, Yankovic went to the service, and tell us the song that you wrote the night, or one of the 3-day party.
There's another tag on this. I was telling you, it was Bye Bye Baby.
Bye Bye Baby,
yes.
Written by Eddie Habat.
Yeah, and this was in the window of Yankovic's old bar, the first one he had. And this place jumped. I mean, you go from Wednesday through Sunday, it was wall to wall. It was a battleground. I mean, there was a fight there all the time, always over a woman. So what happened was, one Sunday, Hokie decided he had a wax recording machine. Why don't we make a record and send it to Pecan in the South Pacific? And we did. We was Ralph Roberts on the sax, Hokie, myself, Joe McClavic on banjo, Al Nagel, the piano player, he was on there, and I don't remember with Jimmy Medvis playing drums or not. And we played the tune, and before we played it, we all said a few words. And John said when he came back from overseas, he says, his chief or commanding officer got a hold of that record, and he ruined it. He says he kept playing it, and he says, I hardly ever heard it.
No kidding.
Yeah, but that was Bye Bye Baby on there.
And, well, you wrote a lot of tunes around that time. You wrote Blue Skirt... You recorded, I'm sorry. Yeah. Blue Skirt Waltz and Uncle Nick's Polka, Social Air's Polka. I Knew from the Start, and one of my favorites, Tell Me a Story. Good tunes, Land of Lady of All My Dreams, Are You Pretending? And then you hooked up with Decca Records. That's is that...
Yeah. What happened was... Sokach, myself, and Bass got a contract with Decca through Uncle Nick Malovic, who had his own radio program back in Cleveland at that time, nationality program. And what happened was, after we made so many recordings, Sokach decided that he heard this one tune on a Sunday night coming from a job out in Newburgh Heights. And here the tune was... Moonbeams, which was Victor Herbert, I think, and we were in a recording studio in Chicago, and this tune was released. And the A&R man at that time was Jimmy Hilliard, and Jimmy called Sokach in the office, and he told him, he says, you're through. He says, you recorded Victor Herbert's tune, Moonbeams, and he says, you're out. And he called me in, and he asked me if I wanted the contract. And I said, well, sure, why not? And then I had it for all the years, you know. It worked out great.
Also, Bill Randall promoted one of your tunes. He was one of the nation's top disc jockeys, and he helped promote that Go Man Go.
Oh, yeah.
Did about 50,000 copies.
Oh, that sold real great because of Bill, too.
Yeah, well, I think we might have that. We'll look for it on the next go-around. But you played with Georgie Cook on banjo, and Chert Cernick on bass, Bill Cernick on drums, and Jimmy Medves, Johnny Kafer, and Frank Modnick, Vadnal's player, sax player, was with you for a while, and Yanchar was with you, and all the guys that... Was Eddie Platt with you?
No, and don't forget Al Turchik. Al was...
Oh, yeah.
Al was my original band, along with Eddie Hervatine on bass and Frankie Jensen on sax and Piccarello on piano. I always kind of said that I always liked, which you played a lot of records with the banjo. I think some of my best records with Georgie Cook on there.
Yeah.
He maybe that's why you made a comment they might be a little quick. Some of them are, as I hear, but that's George. George has a tendency, but he brings it out.
Nice Slovak boy.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. You got a write-up in Billboard magazine, too, huh?
Oh, yeah.
At that time.
Billboard. In fact, getting back to Moonbeams, that hit the Cleveland Plain Dealer, they yanked it off the market. And because of that, it became a collector's item, and there was a big write-up in the Plain Dealer about that. And whatever copies were made, as soon as that thing hit the newspapers, they sold them all out. So in reality, they made more money by doing what they did than if they would have sold them normally.
And now, after that, you go, it's around 1955, you go on a television show, WEWS, Channel 5 in Cleveland, and geez, you're appearing with other guest stars like Sarah Vaughan and Vic Damone and Ishka Bibble and from the Kay Kaiser Group and George Liberace, and you did numerous appearances on polka varieties in the 50s and 60s. You appeared there about 50 times.
Pretty
at
close.
Least, yeah.
Pretty close.
And what was that about the top-rated radio show that you did in Ohio here?
Well, when I was with Sokach and Bass, we broadcasted once a week from WSIRS up in Cleveland Heights. And we had the top ratings in the state of Ohio, #1 ratings. And we really had an audience. Everybody tuned in. But you got to remember, in '48, polkas were in their heyday.
Yeah,
they were really gung-ho.
A lot of that, they were in the kind of the mainstream or so.
Oh, yeah.
So forth, yeah.
Yeah.
Now, what happens, though, in '67? Did you wrapped it up? Was that about when you wrapped it up?
Yeah, Gene, to be honest with you, I'd say between 5 and 10 years previous, I tired of it.
Really?
Well, you got to remember, I was a worker, too. You know, I was in business, and it does take its toll. And I had married, and we had the 6 kids, or 5. And when my daughter was born, she was the 6th one. I just decided that's enough, and I quit.
Yeah.
And the boys had known my feelings approximately a year previous, and they knew that I was going to go regardless. And they started going back. Yoncher went back with Pecan, and
didn't you go with Pecan a little bit before with that band?
What happened was, after I think I retired in November, and I believe it was in March, John Pecan went in hospital for at least 4 or 5 weeks, if I recall. And Louis Trebar called me up and asked me to fill in.
Mm-hmm.
And he got me out of retirement, and I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you something, after 2 weeks, even with that, I got tired of it.
No kidding.
I did not enjoy it anymore.
No kidding. Enough's enough.
Enough, yeah. And I just, how much can you do? You know, there comes a limit. That's why I'm surprised. Like, not to put it as I'm going to do it, but you guys aren't exactly spring chickens. Look at Louis Trebar. Louis up there. And how many others? They're getting older, and they love it.
Yeah, but you know
I wasn't like that. I quit at 40.
Eddie, I'm still a little bit cute.
You sure are.
A little bit.
Well, wait a minute, I don't want to put you in the Oval Office.
Not today. Not today. It's the wrong place to be today.
Eddie, in closing, is there anything you wanted to say to our people? We'll continue on with your music here.
Yes, there is one thing I would like to say. How much I admire your Penn, Ohio Polka Pals. What a great group of guys. And I think since when I was honored in 1985, I missed one function because it was a very good reason. And Joe showed me a picture that they had in the Prospeta, but that was Walter Ostanek with my name under it, and I recall what happened to it. No, I enjoy so much coming out here. Everybody is so great to me, and my wife Pat, and like I told you, you know, if you guys don't get involved in what's going on, what's going to happen to you? And fortunately, you did, and you know where it is, and I don't want to get into it. Thank God for it, and I hope more other groups are the same way, that things can develop. After all, you have to keep it together.
I also just wanted to mention some of the honors that Eddie Habat has received. In 1949, he was voted Ohio Polka King. 1970, he was Collinwood Polka Prince. They had Eddie Habat and Kenny Bass Day. 1972, Man of the Year, Collinwood Slovenian Home. Ohio Polka King at Joey Misculins at 1981, and Penn Ohio Polka Pals Man of the Year 1985. And you're also have a Lifetime Achievement Award from the Cleveland Style Polka Hall of Fame. You're in the
and
it's a top honor, the Lifetime Achievement
and Father
Award.
George honored me with what was King David Award, and one more thing, which I'm very proud of. I was asked in 1994, along with Walter Stanek, to appear in Ljubljana in Slovenia at Lojza Slak's 30th anniversary party at the Soccer Dome, and this is their concert hall. And it was absolutely fantastic.
Thanks for coming by, Eddie.
Well, believe me, I appreciate it very much.
Oh, my darling, you are my fairest one. Oh, my darling, you're the moon and the sun. Sweet and lovely and as fresh as the spring. When I think of you, I sing, little darling, darling of my heart. Come tonight and meet the crowd at the dance. Oh, my darling, that's the time for romance. You and I will dance far into the night. Oh, what joy to hold you tight, little darling, darling of my heart.
Yeah, that was Waiting for You Only by Eddie Habat Band there. And there was another honor that he had from the Akron, Barberton, Canton Polka Club a couple of years back, is where Eddie Habat was saluted by them for thanking him for all the music that he provided up in the Akron and Barberton area through the years as well. So let's go to the phone. Joe.
Well?
I thought you were setting me up.
I set you up.
He set me up. He makes me look bad.
I
Eddie.
set you up.
Listen to this now. Tell us what this is.
I think Eddie remembers this one, don't you, Bones? What's that sound like?
This is Hambone?
Hambone Habit.
Yeah.
You wrote this?
Yeah, it's mine.
Okay. The original.
The original.
Okay, Gino, dedication time on the Sunday Morning Polka Show. A big anniversary tomorrow, August the 25th, for Paul and Betty DeYerba. 50 years of, it's Tuesday the 25th, I should say, 50 years of wedded bliss periodically. And also anniversaries tomorrow, August the 24th, up in Elyria, Ohio. Gilbert and Annie Vanish celebrating 51 years, okay? And not to forget, congratulations going out to Kay Sepchik and Irene Messer for winning the ladies duo division at the Fontana Button Box Contest, and they did a great job.
Now, Eddie, this is you with Phil Aulich and who else is on here? Chris Katzos?
No,
Walter.
This was done for Walter. This is my two sons, Mark and Wayne.
On bass and drums.
Yeah. Norm Cobal is playing the horn, the sax on it. And Markic is playing banjo. And I don't know, who played piano? Did Jeff Pecan fill in on that? I think Jeff
probably
did.
either that or Joey, one of the two.
No, I think it was Jeff.
Jeff.
Yeah.
Let's listen to it. Donnie's Polka.
America's Polka King, Frank Yankovic. My good friend Gene Fedorchak and I want to thank you for listening to Polka Party here on Radio 57 WKBN.
Well, I'll tell you, Eddie Habat, thanks for coming by. And Pat, I'm sorry I didn't get to chat with you a bit, but maybe you come down again and we'll talk a little bit.
No problem.
Okay, thanks so much. Eddie, this is a great day for me. I can't tell you how thrilled I am that you came down and spent the time with us. And I hope we did some of your music justice. We couldn't get to all of it. You were so prolific, wrote so many songs, we couldn't get to them all. But we just try to show some of the, some of the ones that we like, maybe some of our favorites.
Well, I really enjoyed it. I want to thank you boys. Pardon me here.
That's okay. I can handle that.
Yeah. For having me down, really. I enjoy these things. It's nice to reminisce. And I'll tell you, one of the main things is it's nice to know that you still remember, People seem to forget. And it's, I always said this, it's nice to be known while you're still around.
Well, not only do I look like an elephant, but I have a memory like an elephant, too.
You guys are very handsome men.
Oh, that's smooth talker.
Oh, you like
that,
huh?
Pick your favorite partner, pick your favorite band. Go polka dancing today. It's good for you. See you at the SMPJ Rec Center, WKBN Day, 2 o'clock. Don't be late. Betty?
And Betty Milano.
Oh, it's been great being next to a great celebrity. See you down Polka Road also.
Straight ahead as we travel down Polka Road.
This has been a Gene Fedorchak production.